Hey guys, happy Sunday. Welcome back to Fangirlz Assemble. Sorry, we're like a minute late. We were talking about Stranger Things.
Are we a minute late or a lot early?
Oh, that's true. I did move the show earlier because
Yeah.
I have to go to my nephew's graduation party.
But hey, we have James and Jesse in the
What
chat. Thank you
up?
guys for being here.
Hello, everyone. It's a big weekend. There's Stranger Things is out. That Obi-Wan came out.
Yeah.
Star Wars Celebration. So there's a ton of news, including some Rebels characters are going to be in Ahsoka. So that's all I care about now. And we got to read Meal by Blue Delliquanti. I also read Across the Field of Starlight and Lost My Mind. You did? We can talk about it? Yes! I wasn't sure, so I just called this Meal instead of
okay,
both.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
I finished it like 5 minutes before the show, so I'm glad you also were right. Yeah,
I finished it and I just hugged it. So I had to tweet. I was like, I don't.
It's so good.
It felt like reading Tilly Walden's
yes.
Sunbeam.
Sunbeam. Yeah.
Yeah. It felt very much that vibe.
Yes.
I need them to talk.
By the way, yeah, that would be the best crossover.
Yeah.
Of my life. It's my best crossover between my purchasing books and life. What am I saying?
What?
I don't know. Check out InStockTrades.com, our great sponsor, where so many books we get are from there. You know why? They have the best prices of all time. In fact, there's deals on the front page right now. Some of them are over 50% off, so you should check them out. There's a lot of good stuff going on. You're going to get the best prices there for your collected editions and the best shipping. And they've been speedy fast lately. And, the packaging, we always talk about it. It is the best packaging of all time, really.
I was looking at the front page. That's why I was looking away.
Yeah, there's deals. There's deals there. Check them out.
I was going to check if any of the Blue Delliquanti stuff is on here right now. I know it's smaller publishers, so
yeah,
I don't think so.
That's the only hard thing.
So, today we're talking about. Man, I love the library.
I hear you.
Except I have this, so you can't really see anything. Meal and Across the Field of Starlight, both by Blue Delliquanti. They also wrote Oh Human Star. Not wrote, but wrote and illustrated. Oh Human Star, which you can read. And it's a webcomic, but you can get the physical copies as well. And we raved about that forever and still do.
Mm-hmm.
And so when this year blessed us with 2 Blue Delliquanti books, I was like, okay.
Well, I think Meal's been out, hasn't it?
I don't know.
I think it's been out. Where's the date? Oh yeah, 2018. So this is an older one.
Why does this feel like? Oh,
I don't know. This is an older.
Saw it.
I actually bought this at some comic shop in Atlanta because I've been wanting to read it ever since I read Oh Human Star. I'm like, what else have they done? I need to read it all. So yeah, but this did come out this year. Year? I think this year. Yeah.
Yeah, that one is definitely this year. But yeah, so let's talk about Meal first. Trigger warning if you're weird about bugs, I guess. But
true, so true.
Just so you know. But yeah, Meal is all about this. Our main character who has an interest, a passion for cooking with bugs. And it's cool because this book also throughout it really goes into detail about what it's like to cook with bugs and insects and how that could be a good source of food going forward as we deal with shortages of food throughout the world and things like that. And it's really interesting. I also talked about the cultural aspects of eating insects from different cultures and how for us it can be a little kitschy, I don't know, when you're at a museum or a music park and they have the bug and the lollipop or whatever, but talking about as a real cultural acceptable thing to eat and how it's very nutrition confused. Anyways, but it is she, right?
They.
Oh, Yarrow is?
Oh, I didn't know who you were talking about.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Blue Delliquanti used to say, but I meant Yarrow is she.
I believe so, yeah.
So she traveled all the way to the city because she knew someone would be opening up a restaurant that focuses in on this. So she left everything just to move to get a chance to. She didn't plan this, which is hilarious.
Yeah, and that made me so anxious for her.
I was so
like,
worried.
I was like, hold on, you just like up and like uprooted your whole life because you heard this restaurant was happening, but you don't even have a job lined up. At
Yeah.
first, I thought she did, and then I was like, oh no,
No.
I'm upset.
And she
for
packed
you.
all her mealworms with her.
She sure did. They're in the closet.
How? I guess you have a
Oh
big
my
truck. I don't know. Why am I worried
Yeah.
about logistics? It's a comic. Doesn't matter. Like,
I'm with
how'd
you.
you ship all this?
Well, I'm like, of course everything's gonna be fine with her move because it's comics, so I should be okay. But I was worried for her.
Oh
I was.
man, but it was great because it opened up this whole community here. Because not just like the restaurant owner who's very passionate about that and has like her personal background history with like her mom being from Cambodia, her father from Mexico, like and how they cook those things, but also the community there that's really open to seeing how this grows, and a little relationship, little romance between her and this nearby painter who shows up, and she's like, "Oh, let me cook you a meal," and makes her curry with mealworms. And she's like, "Well, I had to keep checking. I can't let." She's like, "We gotta hang out again." She's like, "Oh, really?" Like, "Well, yeah. You just cooked bugs. I have to see how this is gonna work for you." And it was great. It was really, I really liked it.
I agree. Something I never thought I would care about. I mean, there's a lot of detail about the bugs that they used to cook, and this is all black and white, by the way. But I love their art. Like,
oh yeah,
it's perfect for the story. It's very well done, and yeah, all the characters are so interesting too. All the side characters, everyone who worked at the restaurant, the chef that she has to try to impress with. Basically, she rolls up on the restaurant as it's like not open yet. They're still working on things.
Yeah.
She goes in there. She's like, "I heard you need a line cook. I can do that. Yay, I love bugs." And goes into her whole spiel about like what she thinks about bugs and cooking with bugs and her passion about it. And that chef is like, "No, thank you, not going to happen." And she's like, "Hold on, what can I do to like fix this? Clearly I said something wrong." And the chef's like, "Okay, I want you to make me a taco. That's it. I just want a taco. I
No
don't
frills,
want
no
frills."
fuss.
Like, no. So then she has like 3 days to make this taco and she's stressing about it. And of course, taco has to include some kind of bugs, of course, because that's what the restaurant's
like crickets.
about.
I think what'd she do?
I can't
wait,
remember
the
now.
recipe's in the back.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is very cool.
Also fascinating.
I'm not gonna make these, but like,
No, and especially the pan-fried tarantula. Look.
Girl, no.
Look.
I'll eat it. I'm not making it. Yeah, it's really grasshoppers.
I don't think I could eat it if I had to like touch it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm so weird about spiders that like I don't think I could pick that up.
Yeah, no.
No, thank you. So that happened. And everything else, interestingly enough, I wasn't like grossed out by, but that one I just couldn't get behind. It's still interesting, and it's interesting that people regularly eat this stuff, and I do know like we are because I watch Shark Tank too much. There have been a lot of actually like bug protein, like flour, like cricket flour is a big thing now, and like things like that they're trying to, because it's like cheaper to make. The protein is like
it's better
denser.
for the planet.
It's better for you apparently, just generally. Like there's a lot of positives.
I'm interested.
I am too. I'm not against it.
I don't want to cook it myself, though. Not yet.
Yeah,
I'm not there.
I'm with you.
But yeah, James mentioned Food Wars, but honestly, it kind of felt a little bit like Food Wars because, I mean, I guess continue to talk about her process, but like once she gives it to them, it does create this like image and memory.
It's true.
Similar to Food Wars.
I'd say the difference is
it's a pretty explicit difference.
Yeah, there's no fan service involved in that. Yeah, every time they eat like one of these amazing meals with the bugs, like they remember something from their childhood, or like they have some kind of memory, and that is very interestingly done. Something I haven't seen before, because again, even with Food Wars, that's not quite what happens.
Well, yeah. But yeah, it was interesting because you have a lot of mixed race people here too, which I thought was done well because she wrote this along, they wrote this along with Soleil Ho, who's an accomplished chef. And they do a good job together of making sure that so many different cultures are represented, and so they can really talk about it, because it, at the heart, it's just interesting story about this team of people getting together and making this food happen, making this restaurant happen, and also really realizing things about themselves and their own growth. But through that is a lens which I really feel like Blue and Soleil are teaching us about what all goes into this and what this can do, and like how it can be beneficial to everyone in their lives, but also, the historical and cultural aspects of insect eating, and how like it was, I guess, just is interesting to learn about it, to see like how different like cultures develop that like cuisine for that, especially compared to here. We don't do that really. And so to give it actual, like, not as a joke, not as like a rare thing to try, but as a real viable and respectable cuisine. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's fascinating, especially coming from a culture. Yeah, we don't utilize bug food here. We just don't do it. And anytime I've seen it, like on TV shows, like some chef will come in and cook stuff. They were cooking like cicadas when we were having the big cicada craze, because that's a huge thing in other cultures and countries. And I think it became like a jokey thing, or like, just like a putting it under a microscope one-time moment, like, oh, look at that weird thing people are doing.
Yeah.
And this gave it like respect and really showed how, we could change a lot of things, especially here in America with hunger. And, if we utilize these resources that are all around us that we don't do.
Oh yeah, food prejudice is a real big thing, and that I can't speak to the bugs and that sort of cuisine, but there's a lot of people, people have prejudice against certain types of foods.
Oh yeah.
Kentucky, like that big thing is eating like squirrel and things, right? And you wouldn't see that elsewhere. Or even talking about like types of cuisine. Like I have a lot of discussion with friends of why is Chinese food considered to be lowbrow and cheap, but when you say it's Japanese food, then you can charge more for it. So a lot of Chinese people, when they come here, open up Japanese restaurants because they know they're gonna make more money than they would if they were, selling their traditional food. Like, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it makes you look at a lot of like, I don't know, just things like we would never have this conversation. We never have before on this show, right? We never would have. What's interesting is like I just picked this up because I was like, I love Blue. I'm gonna read it.
Oh yeah, I'll pick up anything they write.
I didn't know what it was about going in. Like, and I hadn't even really clocked the bugs all over the cover.
No, I didn't either. When I opened up, I was like, wait a second. Yeah. Because I didn't see the bugs. I just thought they were cooking.
And that's so funny now, because clearly they're right here. They're all around it. I mean, it's a great part of the cover, but I just saw the people and the cooking, and I was like, okay, I'm in. Like, I know it's Blue. I know I'm going to enjoy it, which I did. But yeah, it was fascinating. Something that like we clearly don't talk about enough, and we may never. But I think it is like progressing. It's moving forward. I've seen more conversations, like I said.
Yeah.
I've seen stuff on Shark Tank. Like there's more it's becoming more familiar here. Not like other cultures necessarily, but people are talking about it more. That's cool.
Stephanie, a good related question. What's the weirdest thing that you guys have eaten? I got a couple.
Yeah, you go for it. You probably have
horse ear and pig brain. Because I was in China and I can't read all the characters. I can read like, a good amount, like hundreds of characters, but still not enough to like be able to order everything, So I'll check an item by like, oh, this says pig, so I'll order this, and it's like pig brain on noodles. And I remember calling my mom like, you won't believe what I ate, and she's like, yeah, we ate that all the time, like growing up with scrambled eggs, because she's from, very rural, small town Kentucky, where she, very like low income family, and I forget, like, so it depends on what income, class you're at. She's like, oh, that's a totally normal thing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like, we have, I'm sure you know it, but a festival that happens every fall here.
Yeah.
And one of the big things is the bug suckers. They just like, there's a whole booth about that. And so I definitely ate some of those as a kid because we were all like, ew, look, there were like ants in it and whatever else.
Yeah. I love it because Soleil actually mentions that at the end, there's an essay, or there's a little note from, it's an essay where she talks about like her first foray into that, and how she tried that and then like eventually learned more about everything and started cooking with bugs. Very cool.
Yeah.
I still love that there's like they put recipes in here. So cool.
Yeah, it's very awesome.
Well, we talk about the next book.
Yeah. So basically, we very much enjoyed this and recommend it.
Yeah. It's a very interesting book.
Yeah.
Now, Across the Field of Starlight, though. Blue. Blue have a whole book that they did in color as well. Made me so happy.
My gosh. Yeah.
Full color this whole book.
It's very nice, too.
And it's a space adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all know, I love that.
Yeah.
Very happy.
I mean, and the color work is beautifully done.
Oh, absolutely.
Beautifully done.
Because like when we read Oh Human Star, it was like a, black and white with like a little bit of a color tone for shadowing and things. And once again, Blue absolutely blows out the park with this as far as character design throughout this. I was very curious starting out because there's a lot of Ellie, thank you. You never know when somebody makes a foray into like space books how that's going to work out, because like you have to really come up with your own world, how ships work. They had two different two superpowers kind of like dueling each other, and figure out the tech is very interesting. But I think they did a really good handle on that, because by the end I feel like I had a really good grounded understanding of the world that they had provided us with. But yeah, and then I think the biggest thing was just the character diversity through this. And I'm someone's gonna show up, not here probably. If I did this on the other channel, they'd be like, I don't think it matters what type of stories are in there or what type of characters in there, as long as it's somebody good. The story's good. Shut up. It made the story better. It just did. Like, it's
and
not
Maddie's authentic in her impression, everyone, because like she grew up around that. So
yeah, none of these characters were shoehorned. Before anybody's like, well, why do they have to make it diverse? Shut up. They're not shoehorned in here. None of the characters are shoehorned in here. They are all wonderful and alive and vivid and dynamic characters. And I thought the differences between them, body-wise, gender expression, whatever, made everyone so much more beautiful to me. Again, it's the bar is so low with comic books.
Yeah.
But to see someone in a larger body getting to be a main character in a space thing is wonderful, because why wouldn't there be someone like that? Everyone's build is different. Regardless of if we all died the same way, worked out the same way, we would not look the same. And they don't either. Amazing.
It is like, it's one of those, I mean, there's several characters in here that I feel like I've never seen shown in any other comic book I've ever read. And and again, we know the bar's low. But that alone, I mean, multiple characters, not just one, multiple characters in this. And I'm just like, hold on, why? Like, it really makes you wonder, like, what are we doing here? Like, why isn't this happening? But also, it's beautiful that it's happening. There were, and I have to say too, it was not like the focus of the story. And there are stories like that, and I still love those stories too, right? They're important. Yeah. But it is important to just see people living and breathing and existing in the end, right?
And, let's say, I want to talk about the story. The story is so much more than what this thing we're talking about. But if they had written in that everyone looked like the typical attractive way and did not look like this, right? And there was no diversity, the book would still be a 5 out of 5. Okay.
I agree, yeah.
Now, we've addressed that. What's story has incredible diversity, no one complains about it because that's never the focus. Bleach. They'll complain about this one. They won't read it though. You know what I'm saying? Those people won't read this.
Yeah.
They're missing out. Sure. It's fantastic. Make a show about it. Everyone hire Blue Delliquanti to make a million things because they don't miss. They don't miss. Anyways. Oh, it was so good. It was like a big space opera. I guess we can talk about the beginning.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it or want me to talk about it? I tend to talk too much, so I don't want to do.
I like when you talk. So
Oh, thanks.
you're just really good at it.
I think you're really good at it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Thank you
gosh.
so much. I'm like going to the beginning. I'm like, what was happening in the beginning? Hold on.
That's when they found each other on that planet.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so our main character Lou, right, finds how were you saying the other character's name?
Oh, Fasten?
Yeah, were you saying Fasten or Fasan? Like
Fasten. Fasten.
Fasten?
It's probably like Fasten or something, right? That sounds better than Fasten.
Or Fasan. That sounds
Well,
fancy.
Well, there's an E. So I figured it's
Is there an E?
Fassen.
Oh, I was thinking there was an A. Okay. Yeah, Fasten. So Lou basically finds Fasten. We're gonna keep saying it like that. Whose ship had like crashed, right? And
he was part of oh, I forget which one is which.
I know
the Empire. It's the Empire and Blossom. It's Fire.
And the Fireback. Yeah.
Fireback and Blossom. So he's part of Fireback.
And then there was the Empire, which they were against, right?
Yeah, the Blossom Empire. Anyways, they get attacked. They thought they were going through like a safe part because they brought families and stuff. They were attacked. It crashed. His whole family was dead, and basically he was left there by himself. She. Shit.
Are you talking about
they?
Fasten?
Yeah. What's Fasten?
They. Yeah.
They. Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see Ray's stuff, so it was I just like. Basically, I attributed all the pronouns to Fasten as I went through the book, so I wasn't sure. So I was it's fine.
Oh no, it was they throughout. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. Fasten. So Lou finds Fasten. And yeah, so Fasten had been like abandoned basically, and their people didn't come back for them, and I mean they were starving. Lou gives them some bread. And they're so grateful. Like, what can I do for you? How do I pay you back? I don't have money. And she's just like,
and Lou's just like, it's food.
Like, it's food. Yeah, which I love that because it really immediately shows you the dynamic between them and the differences. Yeah. Right. Because clearly, like, you learn soon on Fasten is like a character who, doesn't just like things don't just exist for existing with them. Right.
Yeah.
And anything they're given, they want to like pay you back, and they want to do something to pay off the debt. There's like an immediate like they have to be useful is how they feel. So there's immediately a different dynamic because Lou's just like living her life, and she's like, this is this is how things are, and we help people, and that's just how it is, right? So from then on, like she helps rescue Lou, helps fix some comm system they had to communicate to get Fasten back to where they need to be, and she basically saves them from dying, right? So there's an immediate connection, and she's like, we'll stay in touch basically. And they have these like little comm systems where there's like a video image of them, but they have to be in like really specific areas to
so at this point, the way that this works, and like to give you guys a background of this world that Blue has made, at the moment there is not like a light speed travel like you see in a lot of like Star Wars and Star Trek. So, and it works similarly with communication. You can communicate with people across the galaxy, but you have to be in a place with a similar radiation field. So if those match, you're able to communicate, you're able to get on the same wavelength as each other. Otherwise, you're kind of sending messages out and you have to wait till that person's in a similar place so they can respond. So at the whole time they're talking, like throughout the next several years, they kind of have to be like, okay, where are you going? What's the radiation level look like? Okay. So I have to make sure I change some things to be able to access that. And they kind of communicate that way, which is very cool. Very smart, Blue. Good job.
It also makes you realize how not easy it was for them to stay in touch. They had to really want to, and they did throughout like all of these years, and they both had a lot of changes in their lives. And, you got to see that their connection was still there. And the whole time, I don't know about you, but the whole beginning, the whole first half, I'm just like, okay, when are they reuniting? Because it's
Yeah.
going to happen. But they continue communication, but they're just living separate lives, completely different lives. And Fasten goes into like basically becomes a soldier for their mission. I'm getting the groups different. The Firebacks was what they were in, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who were against the Empire and Blossom.
Mm-hmm.
Actively fighting against them.
Yeah.
So Fasten started out as like a medic and then becomes a soldier basically. So they're on the battlefield, and Lou's like really worried the whole time about them. Like, okay, wait, we got to keep in touch. I got to make sure you're okay. Like,
yeah, because where Lou's from, they're in she's from like a commune basically. So like they do not involve themselves in war, which is the reason why they didn't pick up. She made sure not to pick up Fasten. She made sure to like have Fasten just get home. They don't involve themselves. They show up between these fights to like do some scavenging, but they just take care of each other. Everyone can basically live kind of like almost like a utopia in a way.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, just which is interesting, right? Because Fasten their community is so different with the war that they're fighting, everything else. There's that point which I thought was really interesting where Fasten gets upgraded to be a soldier and has access to more food. And they're talking to Lou and like, oh my God, can you believe this? Look at this. I can eat as much as I want. And Blue's like, you should be able to do that anyway. You should have access to food. They have to pay for water. Like Blue did a great job of like showing these different points where Fasten would have to like put in a payment card to get clear water, not gray water. And I was like, that's wild.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like, so there is a point, I mean, we won't spoil everything, of course, but of course there is a point where something big happens and they're back together. And I mean, that's what you mentioned was one of the first things I noticed was like, Fasten was on Lou's ship and goes to get some water and is immediately like, wait, how do I not get the gray water? Because there's no payment thing. They don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, and that's something like that you really like. There's a lot of reflection, I feel like, in real life, different cultures with that. Something we take for granted, entirely.
Well, and it's a good point because, talking about your point about how this is something that we see in real life. I never read author's notes, but I did for this. I'm very proud of myself. It's because your work is good, Blue. I don't know if you're gonna watch this. We love you a whole lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they talk about like what they were thinking as they're going into this, and how they've always been really fascinated with stories that have like the space aspect but deal with like real life things and kind of look at it through different lenses. Also how they use the I Ching to do this, which is like it's like an old Chinese text where you kind of you can kind of to protect your life. It's like a number-based system, and they use that to inform this. It's too complicated for me to explain right here, but read the author's note. It's very cool. But they were talking about how in the past few years, it's been difficult because they think about these people in our world that are struggling because of the pandemic and don't make enough to afford food. And people don't think that they're deserving of food and that you have to work for all these things. And this shows itself here because you have, Fasten comes from a world where you have to pay for everything. And when they get to Lou's ship, they have a friend who's injured. And Fasten is so worried because everyone's being so nice. They're just giving them things just because. They're taking care of their friend just because. And Fasten's like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
And it stresses Lou out the beginning until she has some more wherewithal to think about what Fasten's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting because she's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, why is everything a transaction for you? Why is our friendship a transaction? You deserve these things just because you deserve these things. You don't have to do anything to deserve anything.
Absolutely. And even that moment of like Fasten freaking out, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for this? For my friend's medical bill, basically. It immediately made me think about that's like anyone else. That's like Canada, the UK, looking at the US healthcare system I don't think this is political. I think this should just be a flat, like,
No,
there's
it is what it is.
It is what it
Yeah.
is. Like, and they're like, wait, hold on. How much is it to like give birth in America? Like, how much is it to just like go to the ER to get an ambulance? Like, what do you mean people are having like seizures on streets with like bans that say don't call an ambulance because it's way too expensive? What are you saying right now? Because we don't have to think about this. We just get our health care. Hold on. And then it made me think, like, that whole little moment, I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's such a reflection of what's really happening and how ridiculous some things are.
It's another one of those wonderful cases where it's great to, we talk about all the time, like, there's a lot of meaningful message that can be told, a lot of media, but comics especially, because you can deal with the topic that is uncomfortable to deal with on its own, but is more palatable through like a fantasy setting to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped me like look at myself too. I'm like, oh man, when people like feed you or buy stuff for you, I'm like, how much do I want to do? And they're like, this is just me. I would like to feed you. This is my choice.
Yeah. And I've been there
like,
too, yeah. Absolutely.
It was so good. And there's also, of course, a lot of commentary on, war throughout this, like the different, there's like you would expect with you're thrown to war. Eventually, you're going to have a situation where you have to conflict. Do you side with what your superiors told you, even though it's morally wrong, or do you make your own decision? Oh, it's just so cool. That's so cool.
It was all so cool. It really was. And it made me like, I think it had a great ending, and I think it all wrapped up really nicely.
Yeah.
But I would still love to see more stories of these characters.
I would too.
Even if the next book is there's no drama or anything, like there's no battles, there's no, I don't mind. Me and you like that stuff. Go to the grocery store
day to day, yeah.
Like, pick some vegetables in the garden. I want to see it. Like, I don't know. I love these characters, so
honestly,
I would read more.
Star Trek, if you could hire Blue to do some writing in a couple episodes, I think you'd do well. Like,
that'd be awesome.
They're so good. Damn it, Blue. And I got these from the library, and I'm gonna go buy them now. Like, I need to have, especially across a field of starlight. Starlight.
Yeah,
I need to have that.
I need to buy this too because it's something I'm definitely gonna reread.
Absolutely. Like, same way with Oh Human Star. Those are just, I think they belong in everybody's collection. I mean, not action for me, because I'm doing a lot. We talked about doing a lot of like reviewing of our bookshelf, saying what's really worth keeping.
Yeah.
These are kind of books that absolutely are worth keeping.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. So often, I'm just not the person who like, I'll read a lot from my library like this. I will not pick it up for myself, even if I love it. I'm just like, I don't need to own everything I love.
Oh yeah.
There are some books like I want to own and love every Blue book. Like now,
absolutely,
like, because it's something that like I want to give to people to read. I want to be able to like, always bring it up and have a copy. Like, yeah, so. That's the highest praise I think we can all give anything.
Oh, absolutely. Especially since, this past month, I've checked out like 45 books from the library. Read most of them. I think I've got like 10 I haven't read, but
great percentage.
I know. Feel pretty proud of it. But not all of them I would go buy, even though some of them were very good.
Oh yeah.
Blue is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. So with you.
Now I have to go look at their website and be like, what else you got? What else you got, Blue?
Yeah,
also, I still hope I'm saying your name right. I'm still just assuming Delliquanti is how I say it.
That's what I would say, but I mean, I may not be right either.
And I don't know if Blue ever watched this, but if they do, be cool. Do you ever want to come and hang out and just talk to us? We don't do an interview. We
don't love interviews, but you could push all your books. It'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Not that we're not doing that already. So.
Anything you do, we're there. But what's up, everybody?
Yeah, what's going on? We did it again. Go buy these books. We're gonna say it again.
Because I would say more about it, but I don't want to spoil it because it's so good.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot there and there's a lot going on. I think we broadly talked about those concepts, but I mean, just to see the journeys with the characters, like you need to experience that yourself, and we don't want to ruin that for you.
No. What are y'all reading or watching? Kristen, do you watch Obi-Wan?
I haven't yet because I'm stuck in Stranger Things. So
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with
yeah.
that because I want to hear about when you're done.
Yeah.
The minute this is done, I'm gonna hope they have. Oh, I won't have enough time. Damn it. Why have to go? Stupid grudge. I'm just kidding. It's very nice. Have you guys heard or read God Hates Astronauts?
Heard of it, haven't read it. I've heard very mixed things, really. So, Stephanie, did you like it?
Oh, maybe I've seen this art around.
You probably have.
They have an Omni Megabus, is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's cool. Have you guys heard about Kairos? It's from First Second.
Again, heard of it, seen the covers, have passed in the library, maybe even checked it out, haven't read it yet. So I'm thinking I should.
Ooh, no, I haven't.
I'll have to check it out.
This looks cool. I'll add it to my library pool. Have you both been reading the Marvel Unlimited Infinity Marvel Meow ongoing?
Didn't know this existed. May have to get Marvel Unlimited again just to read it.
I'm really bad about looking at I only open up Marvel Unlimited if I have to read a Marvel book. If I get a tablet, I'll start looking at other stuff on there. So the first of Lemire and Sorrentino's Bone Orchard comes out in hardcover in a couple of weeks. Are those all being released in small hardcovers like Reckless? I don't know. Do you know?
I don't know. I want to read it. That's all I know.
Will.
Sorry, Taylor. We don't know what's going on.
Read Real Hero Shit this week from Kendra Wells. I think it's right up Maddie's alley. Real Hero Shit.
Is it not up my alley?
Only mine.
I'm still writing it down.
Oh yeah, it's D&D.
Oh, okay.
It looks like
nice. That's fun.
A quirky fantasy adventure for adults. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll read it. Let me just add to my list. This will happen.
That's what we need. Just tell us more things we should read in the chat.
Yeah. Kairos is basically a Studio Ghibli film in book form. Also, it has the most nuanced representation of love I read in a comic. It gets very real. I mean that's what I needed.
Yeah.
It's Ghibli-like, which
yeah, I'm writing that down because I know I've seen that on my library.
Yeah. I've added it. Kristan, I read Catch These Hands. My library got it for me. I asked them for it.
You know what? I'm writing that down because I need to make them get it for me. Did you love it?
I really liked it. I got Catch These Hands. Oh man, what else? Let me open up Goodreads so I can tell you what I've read lately.
You know what? I just took books to Second and Charles, and I have some credits, so maybe I should get Catch These Hands with that.
It was pretty cute. I liked it. I think I liked it more. I read another Yuri thing. I think I liked this one more. No, I think I like them both.
What was the other one?
See. Oh, How Do We Relationship? I did like that one.
Oh, okay. I have the first volume of that. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, and They Got Flung Out of Space for me, which I loved. It's by Grace Ellis and Hannah Templar.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
We love. And it's about Patricia Highsmith, who wrote the book Carol. So like the movie Carol, the gay one. That one.
The gay one, yeah.
And so it's about her as being like a lesbian author. He wrote for comics. She actually met Stan Lee, apparently.
Wow.
And ended up writing this book that they had to call a different name because they thought, because it needed to be like a pulp book. She wanted to name it Carol, but they thought if they did that, it wouldn't sell. But she had to go through a lot of publishers to get this published because they were like, we're not going to publish a lesbian book. It was really cool.
I'm excited to read that.
Also, she was a bit of a hoe, which I like sleeping with friends' wives and stuff.
Okay.
Very cool. Almost done reading it. It's the craziest astro trip story you can imagine. I'm loving it. Every time there's a head turn moment, you're like, wait, what? That's probably a one-time joke.
Okay.
And it just keeps going and going, doesn't stop. It's just beautiful and hilarious. The best description I can muster is that's absolute chaos in superhero comic form. Love that.
Well, again, I'd seen mixed reviews, but your reviews make me want to read it. So thank you, Stephanie. I'll write it down.
James asks, which Star Wars Rebels characters do you want to see in Ahsoka? I want to see the ones that they announced. Because they said we're going to get Hera, Ezra, and Sabine, which is already cast. We're getting Chopper, who's like the little robot. Do I have any on my... Oh. How exciting that she's going to be real. It would be really cool if they gave me this cool guy, but I don't know if they will or not. I'm just excited about seeing them. I've been waiting, which means they'll be older. Be really cool. Flung Out of Space was so good. Yeah, let's read it too. Love how problematic she was, and the book didn't shy away from that. Oh yeah, love it. Everyone should read that, and then also watch Professor Marsha and the Wonder Woman, because they're same kind of time period. So like reading that reminded me of that movie. I guess those are the big things. Oh, I need you to read Magical Boy. Did I tell you to read Magical Boy?
I have it, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You know what it's about and everything?
Yeah.
I'll tell people. Everybody read Magical Boy. It's really good.
Yeah.
So it's like a spin on the magical girl trope, Mahou Shoujo, that you see in a lot of manga, like Sailor Moon, Tokyo Mew Mew. You know, all girls that transform into magical girls have powers. So basically, Magical Boy, you have this guy, and they do really great. He's in transition, and like hasn't told everybody yet. So some people still dead name him, and they just scratch the name out, so you never learn it. How cool! Such a nice little easy thing. But he finds out that his lineage is that of magical girls, and so he has to deal with it. Like I'm transitioning. I'm a boy. I want to be recognized as that. But when I transform, I look like this. And it's really dysphoric and awful. It's so good. I need to read the second book, but I really liked it a lot.
I just love how I believe Scholastic put that out.
Yeah.
And it's on Walmart shelves.
Isn't that great?
It's on Walmart shelves around here. It's awesome. It's the coolest. So that's actually, I hadn't heard of it until then. And I looked through it. I was like, wait, what is this? Okay, I'm getting this because this is awesome.
So good. Kristan, did you find time to watch Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers yet?
Not yet, because I want to watch it with Reed. So, yeah. And we're watching together Stranger Things. We want to watch Obi-Wan together and that. So it's like, there's an order now.
By the way, off topic, would you guys ever go to SuperCon down here in Miami? I mean, never say never.
Yeah, it sounds
a little
fun.
far.
But it's pretty far for us, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. I would if we paired it with doing other things.
Stephanie, how about you come to Heroes Con in North Carolina next month? You want to do that?
There you go. That sounds like this is zombie. Is this a zombie? Did not like Chip and Dale. Oh, I saw your tweets about it.
Oh, what happened?
Rose was like, when does this get funny?
Oh.
I mean, it's weird. It's weird. Can I make a request that we end this slightly early so I can finish the last 10 minutes of episode Stranger Things before I have to leave?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wish Reed was home because I would jump into. I'm only in the middle of episode 2, but it's so good, y'all. It's so good.
So good. We'll be back with Halls and Reads next Sunday. I'll be back by then. I get back on Saturday, as long as knock on wood, no delays on flights anywhere, because there's a lot. I'm very scared about flying. I'm gonna get stuck somewhere.
Oh, so you're there for a week?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm gonna buy Hannah Gadsby tickets. So.
Ooh, well then that's worth it. That's wonderful.
Yeah. We'll be back, talk about our Halls and Reads. We'll see you then. Thank you all. I'm off to go watch some Stranger Things. I hope you all have a good week.
Yeah, you too.